Hi there and welcome to hobby vlog number 271. Still pretty light on my hobbying through the week, but I do have stuff to show. I've no idea how long this video is going to be, but I've tried to do a little bit more variety, and yeah, it's busy in other parts of my life and lacking motivation as I was last week. But I did get my painting done. So on screen now are pictures of the two miniatures that I painted last week. I really actually enjoyed painting up the Sleeping Beauty miniature. I sat down, looked at it, was a bit scared, but then yeah, ended up having lots and lots of fun. And the videos of me painting these two will come out on An Average Painter tomorrow, so you can check that out. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I have a big pile of Reaper miniatures, and they were just sat there not being painted, and a couple of years ago I decided I was going to paint them all, and I was going to have you guys and girls help me. So on screen now is a list of miniatures. To get involved, all you need to do is pick two of those miniatures and leave a comment below and saying which two you want me to paint, and the ones that gets the most votes will be picked, not next week because I'm not around next week, but we pick the week after and we painted the following week. Now everyone that votes gets a entry into a prize draw, and once every 4 weeks, which will be in the next vlog, I draw a name using a spinner, and then whoever gets picked gets to choose one of the winning miniatures, and I'll send it brand new from the Reaper website. So there we are. It's real good fun, really does motivate me and inspire me, and hopefully you can get involved and leave a comment below. So last week we had another one where we had a clear winner, which was the Black Dwarf Ranger. And then we had a draw right up until yesterday where the Night Spectre came through and picked up the second place. So those two I'm going to start painting today, and I'll have them done for the next vlog. I should say that if you're not sure what a miniature looks like, then in the description of this video there is a list with a link to the Reaper website, so you can go and check them out and see what they are to make your decision informed. So anyway, please do get involved, it is awesome, I really do appreciate it. Let's get on with the rest of the video. Hopefully there's something to watch, hopefully you find it interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you again at the end. Alright then, let's have a look at the miniatures that we've got to paint this week. So I have Sleeping Beauty, and I have a couple of pieces here. No idea where they're going to go. I'll probably have to go and have a look at the picture on the website to work out where they go. And then we have the Elven Blacksmith, which is a pretty cool one that has been quite popular but just never managed to get all the votes, but this time round this one was a clear winner. So what I'll do is I'll get those washed in hot soapy water. I'll have a look and see where these pieces go, get them based up and primed, bring you back and show what they look like when they're like that, and then we'll give it a go at painting. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Well, me and Rosie were on our camping trip. She had a bottle of pop and said she wanted to make a rocket out of it, and I must admit I completely forgot to give her the bottle so that she could do that at home. So what I've decided to do is give it a go myself. So here we are, the bottle of pop, and what I'm going to do is going to put some fins on it, going to wrap it in tin foil. It's going to be a very simple build. I've not got that long to do it, but I'm going to try and take it with me for when I see her next week. So yeah, let's give this a go. I think first of all what I'll do is just make some plans, get some cardboard, and work out how the fins are going to work. I'm probably going to do it so that it will sit on the fins. I'm probably going to try and make it so that I can turn these into rockets. So I'll have 5 rockets, maybe 6, one in the middle. I don't know how well this is going to work out, but I'll bring you along and we'll see how quickly we can get this built. Well, I've been having an ironing over this. I've got some tin foil out, and as you can see, I didn't work out how I wanted it to, but I've kept it here. I've got some good particle board or whatever artist's board here, which I'm going to use to make the fins. But yeah, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I've been trying to work out what material I'm going to use to basically cover this so that I can paint it, because I think that the tinfoil is going to be beyond my patience and my abilities. And I got this Freeform Air many years ago, which is 50/50 pot life is 60 minutes, it says. Well, I've had it for months, so we'll find out whether it works or not. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this, mix it 50-50, and put a light skim over the whole of the body of this, or whole of the bottle, which will then mean that I can then paint it. It will actually, this hopefully will adhere, and if it doesn't adhere, it will just be it'll be a shell. It's pretty strong, this, so it doesn't crack. And then what I can do is I can, while I'm doing that, I'm going to work out the fins. I'm thinking that I might get the fins glued on first, then do the air, so that the air can kind of like also be structural with the fins, and hopefully it will be solid enough and it won't break when I'm flying over, because I'm going to try and take this, like I said, to Rosie next week. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I just thought I'd quickly do a little clip, because I've been staring at this for a while and not made any progress. So I think the first thing to do is going to be to make myself a template for the fins, cut some of these fins out and get them glued onto the bottle. So I'll get the template done and then bring you along as I come to do the gluing. Hopefully the sun has just come out, so it's a bit of a difficult one to do. But here we have a leg, or a fin, and a fin leg, and you can see that that will fit on the side of the rocket. So what I'm going to do now is mark that out 4 times on here, and then cut it out. So I think that'll look quite good. So I'm going to do 4 of them. I was initially thinking 3, but I think 4 will be quite cool. And then yeah, and then we can glue them on. So I'll get these drawn on and then cut out, probably carefully using a knife and a safety ruler. So I'll bring you along when I get to the cutting. But for now, I'm just going to do this. I'm gonna draw them out on this board. There we are. Alright, so I've drawn out 4 shapes, and now I've got my craft knife and this safety ruler, which is one of the best things I've ever bought, and probably the thing that I would recommend most to new crafters is get yourself a good safety ruler, because while they're expensive, your fingers are more precious. So this is going to take a little bit of effort and a little bit of time. I'm just going to do this steadily. So you can see multiple cuts. That's through. So what I might actually just do is separate out the templates like so, and then I can come in and separate them all off each board and cut them out without having to risk without having too much hassle. So yeah, we'll cut this through, and then I'll cut between each one, and then I will, yeah, I don't know, I think it'll work, we'll find out. There we are. So a good sharp knife and a good straight edge, that's what you need. So get all these cut out, and then I'm not sure how I'm going to stick them on. But like I say, my plan is for the air, freeform air, to act as a kind of structural agent as well. Right. It's going to be a bit fiddly, this, but we will get there. I'll try and do one on camera now, and then the rest I'll do off camera, because it's just going to be a repeated process. But yeah, a good sharp knife and a good safety ruler is what you need for this. A little bit of patience, don't rush it. lots of shallow cuts will give you a straighter, more even cut. There we are. And we have our first leg fin thing, and that will sit nicely there. So we'll have to work out how, as I say, how we're going to stick it on. But we'll get the rest of these cut out, and I'll bring you along for the next step when I get to it. Right, so I've ended up cutting out another shape, so that I'm going to do one of these for each of the kind of like things on the bottom of the feet. And it's working well at the moment with super glue, which is nice. So I've done two just as a test. So I've got my super glue gel. I run a bead, nice thick bead along the bottom, and then it's a case of patience. Sticking that on there, and what I'll do is I'll hold that for quite a few minutes and then move on to the next one and the next one, and then we will have our landing feet, because this is a classic rocket from the early sci-fi. That's what I'm building. Right, I'll get that done. I'll bring you back when they're all finished and when we're starting to work on the freeform air, if that's what I end up doing. Right, I've got these two based and primed, as you can see. I really should have been starting on painting them yesterday, but yesterday evening I was very tired, so I didn't. So I'm going to give these a start now, and yeah, I'll be videoing these as per usual for an average painter. Quite excited to get them done, actually. I think they'll be a lot of fun to paint, but we'll see how I feel at the end of the week. Well, would you look at that? So I did use the activator a little bit just to kind of assist towards the last two, so it got a little bit fiddly. And they're not massively strong. Certainly, I really do hope that the freeform air works, and we'll hold them in place a little bit more. So I'm going to make a start on that shortly. Not now, I've got a few things I need to do, but I'm going to make a start on that. Hopefully that will dry in time, and then I can paint it, and it should be quite quick after that. I'm not doing very much fancy on this, I don't think. I'm just going to mould on this freeform air sculpting epoxy, and then paint it. So yeah, it's just a little toy for Rosie. Hopefully it doesn't get damaged on the plane on the way over. Alright, so I've taken some of this freeform air, just grabbed a random amount, tried to make it equal. And what I'm going to do now is mix it. Now, I think last time I did this I used gloves, but this time I'm not, because I don't have the hand, but maybe I should if I come up in a rash. I'll let you know, and then you'll know you need to use gloves with this. I do actually have quite a lot of this stuff, because when I first ordered it, it arrived damaged, and when I told them it arrived damaged, they said don't bother sending it back, we'll just send you some more. And it's very expensive, so that was very nice of them. And it's very light, which is also pretty cool. So we mix it together like this, and I do think I should have put gloves on. Hopefully I can wash my hands after this, they're getting quite sticky. Next time if I need to mix some more up, I'll get some silicone gloves. You can see it's going all over my hands. So I think gloves probably would have been a good idea. But hey ho, I am going to need to mix more up, because I haven't got that much. So what we're going to do is combine it all so it's all an even colour. And then I'm going to start. Oh, look at that, they all fell off. Oh, what a catastrophe. There we are. So that shows that super glue is not sufficient to hold cardboard onto the side of a bottle. But it's fine. I'm not too panicky about that, because what I might do is just cover the whole thing with the with the air, and then when I get to the bottom, super glue and push it into the air, into the freeform air, to give it more security. I did know that that wasn't secure, I just didn't realise it was all going to break all at once on camera. There we are, you can just show I don't hide anything in this. So there we are, that's that. I think this is going to work well for covering the whole thing, but I'm going to need to mix a whole lot more up. And like I said, I'm going to put gloves on. I'm going to go get some silicone gloves, wash my hands and get some silicone gloves, and make sure that I don't have sticky fingers for the rest of the night when I'm trying to type on my computer or whatever. But yeah, we'll get that covered over. I will either do some time lapse or just come back later when it's done. And like I say, what I'll do is I will put some super glue on the end of this and put it into the clay and let it dry at the same time. Bit of a shame that all fell off quite so bad, and I really need to wash my hands. Alright, so here we are. I actually ended up not using gloves and just getting some petroleum jelly to use to help with the smoothing. And what I've done is I've pressed in a notch for where for where I'm going to want the fins to go. And what I'm going to do now is just let this dry overnight, let this go off overnight, and then tomorrow I'll stick the fins back in and potentially mix up a little bit more of the air and put it in around. And I might just take a little bit of time doing that. I'm not entirely sure how quickly this goes. I think it says 3 or 4 hours, so it might be I might be able to do one first thing, one lunchtime, one towards the end of the day, and then the next day, which still gives me plenty of time to finish this before I need to get it to Rosie, because I'm not doing much more than this. Now, I haven't done anything on the bottom yet. I'm undecided yet how I'm going to do the bottom, and I needed to be able to sit it anyway without it being on the freeform air. But I'm pretty happy with how that is. I smoothed it out, like I say, put loads of petroleum jelly on my fingers, and that helped me to smooth it. So I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I think it's going to look really nice when it's painted, and certainly when those fins are fitted, that will really help. So I'll leave that now and come back to that tomorrow morning. So I've got myself some gloves this time because I didn't really like how that felt, and I'm not entirely sure how sensible using the petroleum jelly was, because it's a bit slimy, so I might even have to wash it. So I've got the legs on, and you can see here this has been sat for a long time. See how bleached it is in the sun. I'm going to try to make use of this, hold this upside down, and then fill in with more of the freeform air around the base and all around each of these fins, and then let that go off. And then once that's gone off tomorrow, I will spray paint it a couple of times in black as an undercoat, and then aluminium over the top. Now, it was suggested that I try and do it as a Tintin rocket, but a Tintin rocket actually only has 3 fins. So as tempting as it is to do that, I think I'm going to stick with my original idea of just doing a plain silver one, and then that will be done and dusted, which I'm pretty pleased about, to be honest. So I'm not going to record this because it's basically the same as you saw the other day. I'll bring you back when it's done, show you what it looks like. Alright, having started this for ages and ages, and actually not having finished painting it, because I still need to paint the tips of these weapons yellow, I'm going to start to do some transfers. And the first and most obvious transfer is this ginormous one, which goes across the wings there. So we're going to get some micro set. Oh, I need to get myself a brush. Yeah, we'll get some micro set, if I can find a brush, and then I'll brush that across, and then we will put some micro sole over the top of it, and that hopefully will go on okay. And then I'll have the fun part. This is the easy one. I'll have the fun of doing all the rest, and there are loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. So I'm probably not going to film very much of this, merely because it's going to take absolutely ages and be very fiddly, but I'll bring you back in as I'm going and show you kind of the state I'm in. So there's that's the micro set on. I'm actually not all that prepared for this. I haven't actually got things ready. Let's use this knife. Normally use a small craft knife, but I don't know where that is. So that is already slid off, as you can see. What we'll do is that was very close to perfect, and then I screwed it right at the end. Then we'll try and shift it into place using the knife. I almost did that perfectly. Then it just got stuck on my finger. There we are. So now we can come along and we can smooth that out using micro set. That needs to be a little bit further back. Use the knife to push it back a little bit. There we are. And there we are, the first transfer is on. And when that has evaporated, we'll put the micro sol over the top, which will seal it, and then I'll move on to the next one. But there really are, I mean, each of these numbers is a transfer. Look at all these numbers, hundreds of them literally. So yeah, I'll get cracking with that. I'll bring you along, show how it goes as I get to certain points of interest. Yeah, it's funny, I always put off doing this. I've sat and stared at this for ages because I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm actually always really pleased when I do it because I really enjoy the results. I've got a little bit of a watermark happening here. I might have put a bit too much. Actually, it's coming out, that's okay. It may disappear. I'll give it a try. But yeah, so yeah, I actually really love it because of the results it gets. It makes everything look so much nicer. So I've done a few bits on the top here. That's pretty much everything that goes on. I think goes on the top. I've got a whole load more to do along the sides, and I need to pay a bit more attention to where things go because these instructions aren't all that obvious. But I've run out of time now, so I've just been able to do that in a couple of minutes. I'll crack back on with that later, and hopefully this watermark goes away because that's a little bit distressing. Well, there we are. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything else to it, but I might do. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think Rosie will like it, which is what matters. So now I need to decide if I'm going to try and take it next week, which I think I will, but I'll have to pack it well. It's pretty solid, but I don't want to break it. They are pretty solidly attached with the sculpting around it. And yeah, just spray painted it black and then spray painted it silver. Nice and simple. I'm pretty happy with it. I might do a little bit more to it. I might do a little bit of painting. I might put some more colours on it. Do a little bit of a bit more interesting. I might write Rosie down the side or something like that. I'm not sure. I'll bring you along if I decide to. But the main idea is done. Well, there we are. I managed to finish them, and I am pretty pleased with how they turned out. I was very nervous as I looked at the Sleeping Beauty miniature that I wouldn't do it very well, but I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest, and I really enjoyed making it. And then yeah, the Elven Blacksmith, whatever, came up pretty nicely as well. So there we are done. We have kept up. We have managed to achieve what we wanted to this week in terms of painting. I'm pretty pleased with myself. Right, so I mentioned in the intro that I have been very busy, and I just thought I'd do a quick clip because what I've been doing, I've had the workmen here, or one of them, and we've redone my library. So what I used to have is 6 bookshelves. There's 2 there, so 3 stacks flat against the wall. So 1 stack there, 1 stack there, and 1 stack there. And what I've done is I've turned them round and I've doubled my capacity, which is really cool. So yeah, so I've been working on that. I had to clear this room out. I used to have all my DVDs on this wall, which I've also had to stack, and there were loads of bookshelves and games and all sorts of stuff that I've moved. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. So yeah, so these, yesterday I managed to get everything back on the shelves in nicely in alphabetical order. All of my fiction books here, and then more here. This is my Tolkien row with space for more. I realised yesterday that I'm missing number 8 and number 10, so they're on order. Will be arriving in the next couple of days. Interesting story. These books here and some on the other side on Twitter. A guy's dad passed away. He was a music author, and the guy basically wanted his collection to stay together, so I got all of these books for free. I just had to pay for shipping, and so I got them all shipped out here, and now I've finally got them in my library. They were upstairs in the lounge because I didn't have space in here, and then there's more of them down here, and then these are pirate books, Harry Hearties, World War One. This is all World War Two. Pretty much. I've got some Vietnam books there, some generic books, and then over here just a whole bunch more, like biographies and what have you. So yeah, so that's part of what's taken up my day. Let me show my week. Let me show you some other stuff that I've been doing. So several of those bookshelves that you see downstairs now were upstairs, and they had all of my games on. So I've had to basically shift everything into this guest room, and you can see actually I've got some books here that I should probably take down and stick downstairs. Now I am considering what I'm going to do with this. This is going to stay like this for a little while. I either need to buy some more bookshelves and put them down in the library, or put these back on the corridor upstairs. I think they might go in the library. I might just put them on that back wall, which is empty now, and have them all down there, because there are tons of books in here. There's all my role-playing games and all the SBG stuff there, the strategy battle game, and then tons of games. So yeah, so it's taken quite a while to organise this and move it, which is why I've had a little bit less time than I would like to do hobbying this week. But it's a massive improvement, so you can't argue. Well, there we are. As I say, a bit of a shorter week. I really enjoyed making that rocket for Rosie, and come Wednesday this week I fly out and go and see her, so I'm going to get to give that to her. Whether she keeps it or not, I don't know. She can if she wants to, but at least she knows that I've made it and that it was part of our holiday last time, so that'll be really nice for her. So thank you ever so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to vote for the Reaper miniatures. I'll put the list on screen now. It is also in the description with the link to the website if you're not sure what they look like, so you can check them out. So yeah, do get your comments below so you get included in next week's prize draw. And yeah, I really appreciate your view, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. It's not next week actually. Next week I'm with Rosie, so I will not be uploading anything, but it will be in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, enjoy the next couple of weeks, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And everyone, I do hope this is a terrible outro. Please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.